If you love scratchers from the Virginia Lottery, you'll love the High Roller Blackjack Scratcher with a chance to win up to 10 times your prize. Look for it at your favorite Virginia Lottery retailer. In fact, you can drive there right now. Now that's an everyday win. Odds of winning any prize, 1 in 4.16.
Buying a home can feel like navigating uncharted waters. Redfin agents can help. They'll answer your questions with honest advice so you know exactly what you're getting into. They'll also help you tour as many homes as you want and show you what it takes to make a winning offer. With a Redfin agent on your side, you can sail straight to your dream home. Local expertise from Redfin. That's real estate done right. Tour subject to property and agent availability. Virginia Office Falls Church, VA. 844-759-7732.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses?
You know, a great man once said, the only things that make me emotional are thinking about the day I married my wife and listening to Glenn Fry sing. And I believe that great man was Mark Harlan, who joins us right now on a Tuesday. Mark, I'm sorry to, invoke emotion before a radio hit, but how you doing, man?
Good. I'm just collecting myself. You play Eagles. It's the first time we got to hear some vocals, and I hear what you're trying to say about the come to your senses line. I feel that.
Yeah. No, I know you do, because you're a guy that feels, and I appreciate that about you. All right. So obviously you wanted Saturday night to go differently. We've talked about it over the past couple of days. We'll continue to. Such a great week, though, and really is such a fun night. But your macro takeaways from watching your football team lose to their rival, BYU, on Saturday night?
Yeah, it was a disappointing outcome, in terms of what we hoped it would happen. But as I always say on these losses that you feel, it doesn't take away from the preparation of what the students put into it, and certainly our coaches who work literally, sun up to sundown and way further than that. So the outcome was disappointing, but the effort was something that obviously should be applauded. I think when you're in a situation like this, what you're really blessed to have is a veteran coach who has seen the highs and the lows, and more than anybody, I think in this country, you could argue, knows how to dig out from something like that, and not just him, but the coordinators and the staff. So remain very proud of this team, their effort that they're putting in, and at the same time, tip my hat to Kalani and his staff and his student athletes. They played a dang near perfect game, maybe a couple personal fouls that they'd want back, but other than that, they played a tough and great game. So I think sometimes in this business, the other guys practice too, and they prepare too. You just got to tip your hat.
What, Mark, is the current status of this game? What are the deals you have signed? What are the conversations that are taking place? I know it goes away in 2 years and comes back, and you rescheduled the one from a year ago, but a lot of people, including myself, wonder if BYU to the Big 12 combined with what you need to do in conference means this game could be collateral damage. Let's get some thoughts from you on that.
I think I'm just kind of where we are now. Like you said, we have a 2-year break that Tom and I worked out a couple years ago, and now we'll go into that in the next 2 seasons. And then we're back in a contracted format. And like you said, we added the COVID game back on. I can't recall what year, maybe 2030. So that's kind of where we're at. Obviously they had a lot of news in joining the Big 12 last week. They're going to have to, go through all those dynamics, and that'll flesh itself out. And like we always do, we'll talk about their situation and our situation, and we'll come together. We both share a belief that this is a great rivalry. I mean, I saw the ratings come in. It was impressive on ESPN and another sold-out stadium, whether it's here or there. So there's a lot of value in this rivalry. But right now, I just think I'm looking at it where we're at, and we'll continue to communicate on what makes sense going forward.
Listen to Kyle yesterday. We played it on our show, and then Britton Covey was making the rounds too, and you could just tell there was a little bit of a somber mood. And Kyle doesn't coach where the kids would have entitlement or hubris, so I don't imagine that was the problem. But what's the feel like up there? Britton Covey used the term humbling, and sometimes that can be good to get a kick in the pants. So take us kind of behind the scenes, Mark. What's the feeling like up there this week?
Well, I mean, I think those guys probably articulated it well. I mean, I think that we're a really good program, and we win a lot of games. I mean, look at what's non-conference record since we've entered the league. Look at our home record. So when you lose, it's a time to reflect and to learn, and for the student athletes to listen, and for the coaches to listen, and all that. I mean, I think like with myself and Spence, I don't know if you feel the same way. I mean, I learn more from things that don't go the way that I plan them than I do when things are just as successful as you want them to be. And I don't think that's much different from a football game. You know, coaches were here Sunday, going through the film, had everything graded, ready to go. You know, respect with a really good San Diego State team that we're going to their place. I think it's their place in Carson, California, but you know, it's a road game, and we just don't have time to feel sorry for ourselves. We just got to get back to work. And Tuesday is a huge practice day for our program. It's a physical day. And as we speak, they're out there doing that right now. So we're back to it, and we plan on getting back and chasing everything that's in front of us. It's not you know, lost on any of us that everything we want is still there. And I know those guys are going to do everything they can to get back moving.
No, that's the point I wanted to move on to, because the nice thing about not being independent, the nice thing about not having to wait for a couple of years for you guys is that you're in the Pac-12. And I don't know if you would agree with this, Mark, but for me, college football is the most difficult sport to ascertain what is real and false and what might happen on any given Saturday. You know, everyone thought Oregon was going to get thumped by Ohio State. They go win it. But elaborate a little bit more on just how much there still is on the table, because you know as well as I do, your fan base is reeling a little bit right now.
Sure. Well, there is a lot, right? I mean, there's so much to play for. I mean, we aspire every year to win the South and then go further and win the conference, and none of that's changed. A win or loss Saturday night doesn't change any of that. You know, I mean, there's no arguing that fact. Yeah, you know, you fall out of the polls. Well, now you got to climb back in the polls, and you do that by getting after the next game. So, I mean, I understand our fans are disappointed, bummed out, what have you. But in a lot of the conversations I've had, you know, people understand that. You know, this is, you know, the 19 loss at USC was tough because it was a conference game against the South Division foe. That felt different, right? And then all we did is go off and win 9 in a row after that, right? So I think we can go back to how we've gotten off the floor before and got up and moved forward. And especially helpful in that is for all the student athletes to know that everything's out there to play for.
I'm a rising tide lifts all boats guy, and you and I have talked about, and I've talked about on the show quite a bit. I think it's a mandate at some point for the conference to have a banner carrying program like a Pete Carroll USC run or a Chip Kelly Oregon run. And we, as I mentioned, we watch Oregon head across the country to the Midwest and take it to Ohio State pretty good. How big is it that we find Oregon in the proverbial catbird seat now? I know you want to beat their brains in, but you understand the spirit of the question. Maybe Oregon can be that team this year that cracks the CFP. What would that mean for the conference?
It's a great win. It was just a fun. You got a chance, obviously, with our game being late, to watch dang near every play. I felt the same way the week prior when UCLA took care of LSU in such a dominating fashion. You know, it's just great. You know, we all work collectively, you know, to try to help each other where we can in this period in September where we're playing out of conference. You know, we're all rooting for each other. I mean, the Pac-12s have this AD string this group text string. And, you know, we were all just, you know, texting Rob Mullins, you know, how awesome that was after that game. And, you know, it's just great. I mean, it's great for our student athletes. It's great for recruiting. It's great for the coaches. And, you know, you want to get as many of those as you can. And frankly, they've been far and few in the last few years. So to see Oregon do that was great. To see UCLA do that. We obviously, you know, want to all do it on a more regular basis. But I thought that was a really good win for a lot of different reasons, Oregon beating Ohio State.
Before I ask you the next question, say George's last name for me, because I think I've been mispronouncing it.
Kliavkoff.
I have been for like 3 months. All right, Kliavkoff. Nailed it. All right, we played the pressure that you two gave together, but I'm wondering, Mark, and we don't need to run down Larry Scott, but Larry didn't really do the campus thing much, and that was something he was criticized for. What was it like to have George here, and what do you feel like you guys accomplished over the course of a few days?
Well, George was great. You know, came out here, had 2 full days. We probably overscheduled him. He just spent a lot of time with leadership. You know, President Randall, a trustee, obviously a lot of time with myself and our senior team. But I think, you know, what he was most excited about, of course, he loved meeting all those folks I mentioned, but spending time with our student athletes. Charmel Green, our deputy AD, just set up a great, you know, platform for our student athletes to really visit with him. They did a really nice barbecue up there on the patio of the Huntsman basketball facility, and our leaders of our different teams were up there. Matter of fact, Britt was up there along with Devin Lloyd representing football. And they were just able to sit and talk, questions about the alliance that they had or things about NIL or what George is thinking, next steps. And he's just very transparent, really thoughtful. I thought he left here feeling like, okay, I get how this place ticks. He was blown away by our facilities. He was blown away by our coaches that he met. So it was great. Really got a chance to get to know him more personally, learned about his family. He learned about mine, and immediately left here, got up the next morning at 6 a.m. and flew to Corvallis, which is not easy to do. And then joined up with the Oregon group out in Columbus, then joined up with the Washington group over in Ann Arbor, flew back with the Washington team. So he's all in, and it's been just a terrific start for him.
When it comes to, we're all kind of waiting, and I'm sure you guys are taking your time with this because there's no rush to come out with all the details with your partnership with the ACC and the Big Ten. But where are we at in that process, Mark, and when do you think, the announcement, I think it garnered a lot of excitement, and now we're kind of waiting to hear what the bulk of the agreement will look like. Where are we at with that timeline?
Yeah, there's so many different elements to it. There's the governance element to it, which is something I'm really excited about. That's where we, work with those guys on things that we're all, thinking about in the future. The NCAA is kind of a tipping point. Don't need to tell you that. It's going to probably be a lot different version of itself over the next few years. Well, we want to be not only setting the agenda there, but being a part of every conversation. And the schools are so similar in that way. So, that's being developed. Our student-athlete leadership groups are being developed behind the scenes to get the students from each of those groups together to talk about student-athlete welfare, insurance, all those kind of things that our students are involved with now. NIL, how are we working on that? That's not sexy, maybe sports talk radio or sports page stuff, but that's the kind of work that I'm really excited about, and we're starting to see that move forward. The scheduling thing, I've been real clear on this, unless the Big Ten and the Pac-12 get to 8 games, and of course we've, as a league, and I've said this as well, we would like to roll back to 8 games. The Big Ten is looking at it as well, and of course our media partners have to be with us on that because we have 9 conference games in our agreement. But if we get there sooner than later, then you're going to see immediate impact with alliance scheduling, maybe as soon as next year. But that has to roll out. If the Big Ten doesn't roll back, then obviously you're not going to see much alliance stuff until the next TV deal. I think we only have an opening in 25. I've asked for an alliance game to be a part of that. That's going to be worked on. But if that first thing happens, then we're going to start seeing some immediate impact. Basketball, really think we can do some creative, fun stuff there rather than just the standard tournaments where you go to. I think we can come together and make some November-type, early December tournaments, not this year, but the following year. So to answer your question, there's subgroups being put together. There's a lot of conversations with the deputy commissioners in those 3 leagues. It's just going to take a little while to really have that all come together.
You mentioned basketball. I'm a college hoops guy. I really don't have a specific question to ask you. Just give us an update because while it's all football right now, and I get it, and everyone's concentrating on Pac-12 play coming up in a couple of weeks, and I understand that, we're going to blink, and it's going to be time for college hoops, Mark. So what's the latest with the program over there?
Well, I think the big thing to point out is we're 2 weeks away, or maybe just right under that, of them beginning their 20-hour week, which is really signals the start of the practice season to get ready. So to your point, it's coming on, and that's both for men's and women's basketball. The Pac-12 will be releasing the specifics of the league schedule. We know who we're playing on what weekend if we're home or away, but now getting it specific to what days there are. That'll be rolling out soon. And so, there's a lot of activity there. I think Craig is really excited about this group, really getting to know the guys. They're all here now. They're locked arms. I can't wait for the community to get to know them. I think that's a big part of youth basketball, getting to know the community, getting to know our guys, and we're going to be picking up our game as it relates to getting to know them. But, yeah, we're just about to get into that preseason practice period, which signals that it's almost here.
All right, before I set you loose, I agree with you. There's no time to get down for too long, and certainly it's not panic time about this team at all. BYU gets the win. Give them credit. They'll move on to play their schedule. Now you move on to play yours. What are you hoping to see from your football team on Saturday? San Diego State, it's not a cakewalk. They're not, they're not Bama, but they housed Arizona. You're a 7.5-point favorite, I believe. What are you hoping to see on Saturday, Mark?
I just want to see them be rewarded for a lot of hard work. I want to see them get out there and give it everything they've got. You know, like I said, they're working their tails off, have been going into the BYU game, get up, get back to work and go out and do their thing. We know it's a special group of men and coaches. And I just want to see them be rewarded for all the work. And I know with the kind of kids we have, the kind of staff we have, we're going to bounce back.
All right, my friend. Well, I always appreciate the time. Always good to get an update, whether it's the football or the basketball thing. I know you've been a busy guy, but I'll just leave you with one piece of advice before we set you loose, and that's always take it to the limit, man. I know you will. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, buddy. Talk soon.
All right, there he is, Mark Harlan, athletic director for the University of Utah. Good update there on the basketball, football side of things. I've been pronouncing George Kliavkoff's name wrong now for 3 months. Glad to get that locked and loaded. Look, the alliance thing, the partnership, it's exciting, but we need to hear more details, and I think that was good of Mark to give us at least a little bit of an update there. All right, coming up next, we'll do a little more of the NFL stuff. Week 1 in the books. Monday Night Football I thought was awesome last night. We'll move over to Kyle Bonagura, and you'll hear from Haloti Nata in the 5 o'clock hour, and we'll say goodnight at 6 right here on ESPN 700.
Hi, fellow sports fans. It's Ned Siegfried. What would we do without sports? Following our favorite sports team.
If you love scratchers from the Virginia Lottery, you'll love the High Roller Blackjack Scratcher with a chance to win up to 10 times your prize. Look for it at your favorite Virginia Lottery retailer. In fact, you can drive there right now. Now that's an everyday win. Odds of winning any prize, 1 in 4.16. Winning comes in all shapes and sizes. It's different for everyone. One thing is certain. Every day there's an opportunity for a win. Just like scratchers from the Virginia Lottery. Everyday grab and go. Everyday giftable. Everyday fun. It's where anticipation meets instant gratification. Like the new Virginia Lottery Scratcher High Roller Blackjack with a chance to win up to 10 times your prize. Now, that's an everyday win. Drive to a retailer near you. Odds of winning any prize, 1 in 4.16.